Good morning, everyone. Welcome to News Extra. And my guest this morning, Kevin Figg, the incoming board chair, and Mike Shaddick, the area director for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Great. Thanks for having us. Good morning.
We've got the annual spring banquet coming up for FCA and hitting a kind of significant milestone, number 33, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Very excited. This is our 33rd annual spring banquet for FCA. The purpose of these banquets is to raise money for the ministry in the Panhandle. We will work with coaches and athletes and to bring them to some camps that we have going on this spring and summer. So it's, like you said, it's our 33rd annual. It's a big event for us. And our previous chairman, this was his last one, and he originally started it. He did the first one. So 33 years of doing this is a significant milestone and quite a legacy. And
quite the achievement. And of course, the event itself taking place May 5th, coming up at the Gering Civic Center. And guest speaker, not somebody who's not known in the area, certainly known throughout the entire state.
Yeah, absolutely. Our keynote speaker, we couldn't be more pleased than to announce that Dr. Tom Osborne will be our keynote speaker. Dr. Osborne has been instrumental in Fellowship of Christian Athletes and many other giving organizations that he's associated with. We've been blessed to have him agree to come out to the Panhandle and speak at our event. He'll be here Sunday evening, and he's always just such a great listen and just a remarkable man. So we're blessed to have him.
And Dr. Tom has been actively involved in FCA for quite a while, all the way back into his time as his tenure as a head coach and even assistant coach at the university.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's brought a lot of people to the ministry because of his just his charisma and his personality and his success in life and in coaching. He's brought a lot of people to FCA, and again, we're just so thankful that we have him, a dynamic speaker and always a good draw for events.
Of course, this is a major fundraiser for Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we'll talk about that, and as well as some more work of the FCA ministry when we come back on News Extra. And we're back on News Extra, and we're talking about the 33rd Annual Spring Banquet coming up for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. My guests this morning are incoming board chair Kevin Figg and Mike Shaddick, the area director for FCA. Thank you again both for joining us this morning. Mike, FCA has had a long and storied history, even in this area. Talk a little bit about how the ministry has changed maybe over the past couple of decades.
Okay. First of all, Scott, I want to thank KNEB for being a part of this ministry, and not only that, but what you guys do for the Valley. I mean, you are a huge impact, and we just appreciate everything you do.
Oh, you're welcome.
You bet. FCA started in 1954 out at Estes Park, Colorado. And it's had a myriad of changes throughout its time. And where it's changed mostly is focusing on coaches. We have really focused in on coaches to be able to engage and empower and equip the coaches to do the job that they actually are meant to do, and the job they want to do. We are in, let me look here, we're in a number of different, well, we're all over the United States, but we are also, the big transition is we have gone global. So we have 14 areas in the United States, and we have 10, 12, 13 in Europe. And a lot of that, of course, is soccer in Europe. It's huge, but we've also seen tremendous results coming from Fellowship of Christian Athletes. The areas here in the United States help to support those in Europe.
Okay.
And with that, we get responses from Europe, Asia, all over the world. And that has pretty much transpired, help me, Kevin, if probably in the last decade, probably, going global. And they do it with just a handful of people. The corporate headquarters is in Kansas City, and the way they function is amazing, and the way they assist us that are out here with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But more importantly, we have a mission. It's a faith-based mission. We're focused on Jesus Christ, and we want to get the word out. And with today, the way young people are pretty much focused on social media and pretty much on their iPhones, which is, I have to admit, I'm on the iPhone too. So, but Billy Graham said that one coach can influence more students and young people than one person can in a lifetime. So, just in that statement alone lends a lot of credibility to what coaches have in front of them, and whether they know it or not. I mean, they are a huge influence on young people's lives on a daily basis.
And then you talk about fellowship, and one of the not uncommon things to see at the end of sporting contests is to have a group of athletes come together at center court or at the 50-yard line, wherever the case may be, and come together for bowing of heads and a little bit of prayer. And that, of course, is something that you often see involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And being thankful that a contest has happened in the way that it has, and that people haven't been injured, and how all of the glory goes to the Almighty. Now, you talk about social media, and has technology changed a little bit in the way that FCA interacts with the coaches and with the student athletes from the high school levels all the way up through college and beyond?
Has it?
Has it changed?
Oh yeah, obviously. And of course, I'm old and Kevin's young, and Kevin functions a lot better than I do on social media. But we correspond technology-wise. FCA, the headquarters, is it's staffed by a myriad of young, aggressive techies, for a better word. Yeah, it's transpiring daily almost. I have, when I took the position, I'm old, and they said, it'll be just fine. And I have 6 apps with 6 different passwords, and I have a hard time just getting up in the morning and finding out where my shoes are, let alone the passwords. But when you talk about technology, FCA is on the cutting edge, and why is because that's the main way to correspond with young people today.
Sure is. Yeah.
What we can identify as our maybe our biggest challenge in social media and being connected to devices all the time. If that's our enemy, it's also our biggest opportunity. We know that we can reach more people, more young people, more coaches that can reach out to more athletes by taking advantage of the technology. So yeah, definitely a focus of the organization.
And of course, another focus of the organization with an event such as this, with the Spring Banquet, it benefits the camps that take place with FCA. Explain a little bit of what goes on with some of these camps with these student athletes.
Well, with this banquet, all funds go towards helping these young people to get to camps. Right now, we have 3 camps that are on schedule right now. We have what's called a distance camp, and that's held in Kearney, and that's June 11th through the 14th. We have the leadership camp, which also is in Kearney, and that's in July 1 through 3, 1st through the 3rd. And then we have a Black Hills. It's an all sports camp. It has basketball, cross country, football, golf, soccer, swimming, tennis, track and field, volleyball, wrestling, cheerleading, lacrosse. And that's it's in Spearfish, and that is June 25th through the 29th. And the funds that come in through the banquet, go towards helping these athletes to go to these camps. So we like for, if they can, pay for part of it. But if you have a young person that can't afford it, we'll make sure that they get there.
And one of the keys, of course, with Fellowship of Christian Athletes is a 4-part plan, a game plan, if you will, with 4 values, core values that you try to strive to achieve with the kids.
Correct. And those core values is integrity, serving, excellence, and teamwork.
And you find that in a lot of organizations that work with kids, those very same values, whether they're religious based or not. I mean, those are values that come in handy no matter where you are or how old you may be.
Right. We have a lot of educational tools for coaches, and one is, it's called 3-dimensional coaching, and that is to just kind of put it out there just simply is most coaches know the fundamentals, otherwise they wouldn't be coaching. And they coach the way they were taught as young people most of the time. It takes it to the next level in the philosophy and the heart. One coach that well, you'd probably be familiar with Dabo Sweeney. Are you familiar with him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a big proponent of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And also Tony Bennett. And he's a big proponent, which they seem to be pretty successful, each winning the national championship in their own sport. So there's positives in what Fellowship of Christian Athletes is trying to do. We just need to get young people inspired, to be the best that they can possibly be, and that's what we do. Is we focus on that. We focus on getting a young person. None of them are not, but very few of them are going to go into the professional. But if we can get them just to have courage and have self-confidence, we find that through Scripture, spiritual awakening, that's important to us, and that's what we focus on.
So for our banquet coming up, how do people get tickets? How much are they?
Absolutely. So we do have some seats available still. As you can imagine, with having a speaker like Tom Osborne,
you would expect them to
sell out
pretty well,
very quickly. But I'd like to give a number of 635-3279 for the number to call. We do have seats available for students or coaches at $5. For adults, just normal tickets, they're at $40 per person. Okay. We are ecstatic that we're going to have Dr. Tom back out here speaking again. Always a great evening when you get to hear him speak. You're also going to get to hear some of our athletes, some of the kids that are members of FCA. That a lot of times we'll have testimonies from them, and it's just a great evening. A lot of good fellowship. You'll hear from the young people that are involved. You will hear kind of what's going on in the ministry and ways that you can help, and couldn't do any better than Tom Osborne at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the 33rd Annual FCA Spring Banquet coming up May 5th at the Gering Civic Center. Tom Osborne going to be the guest speaker. Kevin, Mike, thank you very much for joining us on News Extra today.
Scott, thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
You guys do a great job. Thanks.